Look, at this point we all realize that dating is one of the worst things in the world, maybe second only to dying alone. Which means we pull ourselves away from the safety of our own homes to meet somebody we know we probably won't like to do something we definitely don't like. This is what's referred to as dating. But other videos have already covered how much dating can suck. With that in mind, in this video, we're going to answer the question, who should pay on the first date? I mean, sure, if you don't want to turn out your pockets, there are plenty of first date ideas that don't cost a dime. You know, things like taking a walk on the beach, going to the park to feed the ducks, or making your own porno. But what about a first date that actually costs money? Who should pay for those? To find out, I've broken down first dates into 3 sets of scenarios: fiscal scenarios, social scenarios, and age scenarios. So say you're out on a date and the check comes. Before you reach for it, or throw it at her face and run, consult the following fiscal scenarios. In the first fiscal scenario, you make more money than she does. For example, let's say she's a photographer and you're a writer. This is easy. Since you make more money, you pay the check. But the second fiscal scenario isn't so simple. Let's say she makes more money than you. In this example, she's a high-powered attorney hell-bent on saving the world, and you're a pothead who lives above your parents' garage like Michael Seaver in Growing Pains. Who pays then? Well, since you told her you were a CEO of a Fortune 500 race car company, you obviously can't turn back now. So you pay the check. Alright, next on the list we have social scenarios. In these scenarios, we need to compare the social standing of the 2 daters, or more bluntly, figure out who is cooler. In the first scenario, she's way cooler than you are. For example, she knows 6 languages fluently, owns a 1967 Camaro, and has more than one friend. Obviously, you pay the check. Okay, but what if you're clearly way cooler than she is? Like, she has used the word supposedly 9 times so far. She doesn't ask you a single question the whole date except for one on accident when her voice went up like this at the end? And in general, you kinda want to murder her. Who pays then? Well, I'm sorry to say, but you're on a date with a moron. Have a little charity and pay the check. And finally, age scenarios. Age scenarios are pretty simple and change throughout your life. In high school, you've got so much excitement. This is one of your first dates ever. Of course you're going to pay the check. In college, you're just buying a couple Milwaukee's Best that you're going to pour into plastic cups and drink ping pong balls out of, using loan money that will eventually ruin your life. Suck it up and pay the check. In your 30s, you've pretty much given up on love, or ever causing an egg to attach itself to a uterine wall. There's no reason to worry about money at a time like this. Pay the check. Above 40, you have to ask yourself one question. What are you still doing going on dates, you old creepshow? You should be happy that she's even in the same room as you. Pay the check, for God's sake. In conclusion, guys, you're paying the check. And I have 2 sets of advice. Ladies, when the guy pays, all we ask is that you say thank you. And fellas, I wouldn't worry about it too much because if you're like me, you're not going to get many dates anyway.